So, a quick reminder about the idea of love. Remember that love is essentially the acceptance of everything, meaning it honors all things as itself. So our pathway to living in our greatest expression, our pathway to utilizing and accessing our greater potential is by being able to accept the aspects of us that we've so long denied. Everything we thought to be wrong with us, everything that we've had a judgment towards, everything we wanted to suppress, all these things are the potentiality of us stepping into greater capacities within ourselves. It's the difference between understanding the concept of living from love or fear. Right now, love functions from unified consciousness. It is the recognition as everything connected as and of the self. Fear is an idea of when we play out separation, believing things to be separate, believing things to be dualistic in nature, meaning opposing forces. The truth is that there's no such thing as opposing forces, that everything is connected in the all of creation, and all of it is always serving the support of consciousness reaching its fullest and greatest expression. That is the point. That is how the game is being played. And each one of us being an individual expression of source with consciousness in greater potentiality of the mobility of awareness, we nurture ourselves and we explore within ourselves and we access more of ourselves to live in this full expression. That's the journey. That is the colorful journey in all these different aspects, the diversity of unlimited creative potential. So if you're asking yourself to be love, if you're asking yourself to step into what it means to live in unified consciousness, in unity consciousness, in Christ consciousness, you are asking yourself to start with everything you thought about you that was unworthy or undeserving of love. So everything that you never wanted to feel, it's time to feel it so you can step further into your greatest expression. Everything that you thought would make you better by achieving outside of you or seeking outside validation to matter in this world, only to feel empty as a result, or it never be enough, or to develop certain addictions or dependencies. All of that is showing you where you've been avoiding going into the things it's time to feel and face, so that everything you do achieve, you can feel more fulfilled in. Everything you do pursue, you can feel greater sense of gratitude in the journey and the process. That's the game we're playing. The stage that we're in humanity is the ability to feel freely. That's what we're all stepping into. That is the necessity of the experience of life, to feel freely. Because feeling is the only true form of communication. It is what gives meaning to words. It is what gives meaning to life. It is what gives power and meaning to thoughts. And feeling is what emotions communicate. So anytime we're busy judging our emotions or considering them to be positive or negative, which there's no such thing, there's just emotions. And they all serve a very important function, so when you receive the wisdom from them, you'll know how to actually utilize the information to make the necessary adjustments in your life or to compound upon what you're already doing. Right? So to live from love is to be able to accept all the aspects of you, not dwell on them, right? Not hold yourself back to them. Accept them, honor them, and move forward into greater expressions of life, greater expressions of you. You are the more than all of it. You are greater than every single one of your identities. You are greater than all the thoughts. You are greater than the narratives of which you write. And because you're that more, you have the ability to honor every aspect of your creation and then move forward and create something greater. Because that's the propensity of consciousness. It wants to know its fullest expression. So you're never going to stop. Accepting where you are doesn't mean settling or dwelling there. Acceptance and tolerance isn't the same thing. Don't you ever tolerate anything in your life. Don't ever tolerate limitation. Accept it. Honor it for what it is. Then use the information to step forward in your life. Love starts with everything you thought didn't deserve it. And remember, love starts with you. So it's your ability to love yourself that allows you to expand it further into your life. It's your ability to love yourself that allows you to receive it from others. It's your ability to love yourself that allows you to hold space for others who are navigating their own journey of self-love. And that means that when you're being love, it doesn't mean you're being a pushover. It doesn't mean you don't face confrontation or conflict. It means that you face it in harmony of whatever you're experiencing it with. If I'm having a conversation to confront someone about something that has to be adjusted, right? I'm not doing it to belittle them or to judge them or to attack them. I'm doing it to bring awareness to them in relation to how I feel within this experience, not you made me feel, and honoring their process so that we're navigating the standard we're setting. So if this is how we're going to have friendships, here's what I would love to see happen. How does that resonate with you? If it doesn't, then maybe this friendship isn't going to work. Here's the standard for relationship. This is how we'd love to interact and what we can build on. Is this something we want to do? And then if it isn't, we shift. If it is, we rock. And can we support each other in the process when we're out of integrity with the standard we're setting? Or do we judge each other and see it as a cause to run? Right? When you talk about the idea of toxic relationships, so there's no such thing as a toxic relationship. There is just, or toxic people. There are people that play out distortions and patterns of behavior that are literally showing you what to change. And if you ignore the patterns, if you avoid the patterns, if you neglect the patterns, then the experience gets louder. What you're thinking of as toxicity is just loudness, because whenever it was showing you whatever it was showing you on a quieter level, you refused to address it. And so then it had to get louder to get your attention, because that's how reality creation works. If there's a necessary choice to be made for you to step into the next version of you you're asking yourself to be, the experience will show up. You ignore it, it gets louder and louder until you make the necessary choices, because it's what you're asking for. The universe does not have an agenda. The universe just supports you experiencing all that you're choosing to experience in your creatorhood. And so if you're asking yourself to play something out and you start making different choices and your experience is warring, getting your attention, your experiences aren't showing up for you to be miserable or to think that you're unworthy or less deserving. They're showing you simply what you're doing. So now you have the awareness to make an adjustment. Now, how do you live from this on a practical level? It means that you explore every experience you have from yourself first to appropriately assess how you feel in relation to what you're experiencing. Because if you address yourself first and become the observer of what you're feeling, you won't blame someone else for how you feel. And then you'll be able to have a clear conversation with them about what you want, if the conversation is necessary. It starts with you. Right? If you're in a situation that is abusive, your first act of love is to step away from it. But you don't have to judge the other person to do that. Living from love is living from an authentic place of honest expression. Honest expression, not distorted expression from the identity or ego state of mind that wants to be right. Honest expression is the expression that comes from truth to see all things thrive in the awareness. Right? So like if we're in an argument, we're not really saying what we honestly want to say. We're too busy wanting to feel powerful again and be right. If it's honestly what I want to say, then it would be something like, I feel this way. And I realize it bothers me because I see where it shows up for me and I'm not owning up to the standard I'm setting. And this is what I would love to see. Right? But if I'm too busy going, and you did this to me, and you did that to me, I'm not being honest. I'm bullshitting myself and you. So living from love is something so much greater and more in depth than you realize. And in a way, so much simpler. But it's beyond the distortion that we're used to playing out. So the question is, if you're going to ask yourself to deliberately live a life where you're expanding in your loving capacity, right, which ultimately that's the journey everyone's on, whether conscious or otherwise, then the question is, where have you yet to be able to look at yourself and love all of you? What aspect of feeling do you hate to feel? I don't like feeling disrespected or betrayed or lied to. Then you show some love to the versions of you that feel that way. I feel insignificant and I hate it. I just want to do something so I can matter more to the world. Cool. Show yourself some love when you feel insignificant. As insignificant. Like that feeling, I love you. Thank you for showing up for me. And then realize that you're significant enough to step forward and be more. And that's the journey we're on. So I felt inspired to share this message with you. Take that and run with it in any way you see fit. More videos on the way. Blessings.